Welcome back. We are at episode number 10 of Chico and The Grin. It's 10 episodes. Can you believe it?
Damn, that's pretty intense.
That's right. That's how I like to start things. Very intensely.
Yeah, man. Actually, I was thinking that it's more episodes because sometimes I think back to when we started. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit,
we've been
only have 10
recording.
episodes?
Yeah, we've been recording every other week. So, I mean, I didn't do the math, but
Yeah.
if it's 10 episodes every other week, you figure it's been about 20 weeks since that we've been doing this.
Yeah.
And we haven't missed a day. We haven't missed a recording session, right?
No.
As far as I know.
But the one of the weeks we're supposed to record, there's that belt ceremony.
That's right.
On a Thursday.
Maybe we'll do it the Wednesday or
That's fine,
the
man.
day, or the day after.
Yeah.
Whatever is fine.
Yeah.
So you're back at training, so it's
Yeah.
official. You were talking about it before we went live.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I gotta say something.
Yeah.
Because
All right.
some I'm not gonna say his name, but he's a dickhead. And he comes up to me in class, and he's like in jiu-jitsu class, and he's like, "Oh, you're the guy on the Chico and the podcast." Like, and I was like, "You know the name, dude. Just say the fucking name." And he's like, "Who are you again?" I was like, "Oh, you mean the Grin?" He's like, "Yeah." And he starts trying to crack jokes, right? And then in the locker room, he says something smart, and I'm just like, "This fucking idiot," right?
Do I know him?
Yeah, you probably know him. And but the thing I want to say is like the reason I brought it up, I was like, it's not anybody's podcast. It's two guys on a podcast.
Right.
It's like, but the way he said it was like, it's like I'm on your podcast, and I'm like, dude,
I hate
it's
when people,
both of ours.
I hate
like
when
get it
people-
straight.
I hate when people do that.
It just sounds better, Chico and the Grin. It
Right.
Like the Grin and Chico, that sounds stupid.
Right.
Sounds like a taco shop.
You pick a name for the way it rolls off the tongue, not for the priority of who's.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see who this was afterwards when we're done talking. Please remember to tell me. But people like that.
Yeah.
Half the time, I don't even pay attention to them. They start talking,
Nah.
and I'm just like, that's nice. I gotta go.
Like I'm not even like before, maybe like a year ago, I probably would have said like something smart, but now I'm like, I don't even want to argue with people. I'm like,
It's
oh,
not
you're
worth-
an idiot, dude.
It's not worth the
Cool.
energy. I've learned that.
Moving on,
I've had
man.
that extra learning, especially being at my new job where I'm interacting with people like brand new people every single day, multiple times a day. Some people just have attitudes, and some people you just like if you let it get to you, then it's like I had one guy yesterday try to explain to me my own job, like he's explaining how lighting works, and I'm just like, okay, and he's like. Because he wanted to see what we had available, so I showed him some stuff.
Wait, you mean a customer or a coworker?
A customer.
Oh, okay.
And he wanted to see what we had available. He was trying to achieve a certain look or whatever, so I was helping him. And I guess he didn't like what I showed him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I was like, hey, you told me to show you everything.
Yeah.
So I showed you everything. And he goes on to explain like the very basics of photography lighting.
Okay.
And in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? It's not even worth it. I was like, okay. So can I show you something else? He's like, yeah. I guess he wasn't expecting my just neutral, dead face reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So I just showed him another light, and eventually he bought something and he left. But I was like, that. Had I not thought about it for a second, I probably would have flipped out.
That reminds me of something I just heard in Jocko Willink. Willink?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like his podcast, man.
I like it too. I have to take it in small doses because sometimes it's like a bit much.
Yeah, same here. Same
It's
here.
a bit much.
I'm like, dude, you're losing me now, man.
Yeah.
Like, enough with the testosterone.
And the
shit.
way he reads things, today, we are the ones. We are the ones that are going to succeed.
Hold up. Now back to the book.
No, back to the book. Yeah, like the way he's so intense. Everything about him is so intense. He can't not be intense.
Like, calm down, man. It's just a book.
But just the way he's reading it, like he's like, all right, back to the book. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. He took up the AK, killed Akbar, and now we're back to normal.
I imagine him turning pages with like a big old
like
deer
knife.
hunting knife
Yeah.
and shit.
Yeah, a Rambo knife. I could see him doing that. You go eat dinner at his
Just
table.
scrolling
and
through pages
right.
with a blade.
You go to his house to eat dinner, and instead of being a fork and knife, you have like one of those giant like barbecue forks and a giant Rambo knife. Like what the fuck, man? That's just the kind of dude he seems like he is. He seems like a nice guy, but he's just like everything about him's intense.
There was something, oh man, I forgot who he was talking to, but there was something he was saying about, like, it's basically not showing a reaction to stuff, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
I forgot what podcast it was
It
on.
was a podcast where he's talking
Was
about...
he interviewing or just talking?
No, he was talking about emotional control.
Yeah.
Yeah, about being controlled because he said that he was talking about losing control of your emotions is a sign of weakness.
It is.
Yeah, it is. He's right, and that's what he was talking about. Like when you're upset, to just have a neutral, kind of, because you want to be able to show that you're not affected by emotions and that it doesn't affect your judgment.
Very stoic.
Yeah, and I get it.
I've been called that a lot.
I try to be that way. I think it's the best way in a professional setting to handle situations. Yeah. Right, because if they see you're not, if you're unflinching and you can kind of, even through stress, manage your emotions and get the job done, it's a lot better overall than flipping out and going off the handle and, scaring people or just making yourself look like an asshole.
Yeah, or just looking mean and they're scared that way.
That too.
Yeah.
Or if they say some crazy shit and you just have no reaction and there's like, oh, why does this guy not have
I just start laughing.
That's scary.
That's worse.
Yeah.
You're like, why's he laughing?
I try to do that sometimes. I just try to look at them like that's the normal part of my day.
Like, shit.
Yeah. So you're back to training.
Yeah, man. Back to jiu-jitsu.
How's that going so far?
It's going great.
Because it's always rough when you take a long break and then you jump back in.
Yeah.
The first couple of days are usually rough.
It was about 5 months, I would say. I was off, but then again, before I had to take the break, I was barely training anyway. I was training like 2 times a week, almost every other week. You know,
that's kind of what my schedule is right now. It's not as good.
It was funny because I took man, I don't know anybody who's taking more breaks in jiu-jitsu than me. And
I mean, life throws you curveballs.
Yeah, so for a while prior to this break, I was keeping record of my training days. I was like, I want to see how often. That's how I know when I'm not training. I would keep a little calendar inside my Moleskine and just print it out once a month and just check off the dates when I hit class. And there was some months when I was like on a regular. Then there was some months when it was like 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks later, 1 class, another week. I'm like, so when I think taking a break, I had a bunch of other stuff going on too, but the break was necessary to hit reset. You know what I'm saying? And I took, like, during the time off, I just reevaluated everything. Long story short, I just hit reset on my whole life. And coming back to jiu-jitsu, it's a passion that I have. I mean, we both started 9 years ago, right? Something like that?
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah,
so
2009.
8 years.
8 years. And I know you've been training more consistently than me, but
just barely though, just hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
I go my schedule as of late. So my goal was with this new job, since I can't attend the night classes, which is weird, not going to the 7 p.m. classes anymore, because I get out of work at 7.
So when do you train?
So my goal is to train in the mornings, which I haven't been able to do.
Shit.
So as of late, I've only been training 5 o'clock on Fridays.
Oh.
So I'm gonna try this coming week to try to make Monday, Tuesday, Thursday mornings, and then Friday 5 p.m.
Okay.
And then Saturday's my day off. I could train Tuesday during the day too, because Tuesday I don't work, so I could probably do Tuesday in the afternoon.
You're gonna be in the city, so.
Yeah, I'll be in the city.
Yeah.
So I just gotta. I mean, my new job's been pretty intense. Last like 2 months, going on 3 months.
When you just started, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm settling in now, and like, my schedule's a lot better. So
Okay.
I should get back to training regularly. My goal is to do 3 to 4 days a week,
Not
and
bad.
keep that as consistent as possible. And I don't know if it's because I've gotten older, but waking up early has gotten a lot harder for me. Because when I was younger, I'd be up every day at 6 in the morning without even having to try. And getting up at like 5 or 4 in the morning was easy. Now getting up at 5:30 in the morning to get to training is like mission impossible. I've got to put my phone in like in another room so that I can get up and turn it off so that I can actually get out of bed.
Yeah, it helps you wake up.
Yeah, I get
doing
that's
something physical.
Yeah, because if it goes off next to my head and I can just turn it off with one hand, I'll fall right back asleep.
So far, it's like being back. It's the waking up part has actually been easy. Training's been going well. I don't know. I found my groove, so I'm getting back into it. I downloaded. Can't say I downloaded. Well, fuck it. I downloaded. I already said it, but I got a bunch of videos from guys and stuff, like a bunch of friends of
Allegedly
jiu-jitsu stuff. So I'm going back to that.
You know what's really good? I heard. I've only seen clips of it though. Paul Schreiner's new half guard DVD.
Somebody gave me that.
Right. So
as a gift.
There you go. Allegedly. So all my I play half guard. That's my game, and I learned it all from Paul. Like all my half guard stuff comes from Paul. Like,
I want to say it's pressure pass.
I would say
stuff.
95% of it's from Paul.
All right.
So I'm actually I don't buy jiu-jitsu DVDs anymore ever since, because I don't.
I barely buy DVDs.
Right. But this one I'll probably buy the digital download so I can watch it. Just because it's half guard, and that's my game.
I'm all legs, so it's like I want to study some half guard stuff because I need to know it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things I need to know just so I'll get out of it.
Yeah, with your long legs, you should be playing spider guard.
I'm always playing
and
spider
just
guard.
keeping people away.
Spider guard, De La Hiva, triangles.
Right.
That's it. And then when I'm on mount, just pressure.
Just pressure straight down.
Arm bar. Or that arm triangle. I like doing that. When you get the person's arm locked up. I love
It's
that.
a shitty
shit,
feeling.
man.
I hate that feeling.
Because I'm like, if I'm there, you're not going to knock me off and you're going to reach up. It's such an easy go-to.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just hard to get it on people who are experienced because they see that coming from a mile away.
Yeah. You got to, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they can't knock me off, then I know I got it.
Right.
I just got to creep up slowly. But if they knock me off, and if they can get out of it, then I'm like, I'm not going to worry about it. One thing I would love to get better at is, like, Americanas. Because it's like the arms are there when you're on mount. But, like, every time I go for it, I guess my setup is wrong. And they pull back. I'm like, no, I need to work on that a lot more.
Yeah, I go for it a lot, but I use that as a bait to get into arm bars. But that's just me. Americanas, Kimuras.
Yo, is Ryan Hall, is he still doing UFC or is he just back to jiu-jitsu?
As far as I know, he's still in the UFC.
I haven't seen him fight in a while.
Yeah, me either. I think maybe he was injured.
I thought of him because we were talking about triangles. And I know he was the man for triangles.
I stopped watching UFC.
Yeah, me too.
The only one, the one that's coming up with GSP and St. Pierre and Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw. That seems like a card I'll probably watch. I'll probably be at Fort Tryon for anybody who wants to join me.
What day is that?
I don't know. I'll check online. For all I know, it's this weekend. I have no idea. But like, I barely care about MMA.
There's
anymore.
too many fights, man.
I just like jiu-jitsu.
I just like
jiu-jitsu. I like to watch people train, roll, and compete in jiu-jitsu. MMA is cool, but there's too many personalities. I can do without the personalities.
Speaking of competing in jiu-jitsu, I went to the fight to win.
Fight to win? Oh, you went?
That was kind of dope.
Was it?
I ain't gonna lie.
I specifically went because I don't like that hyped up fake MMA
man,
style of jiu-jitsu.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Out of all the jiu-jitsu tournaments I've been to, that was the best.
Really?
It was like clockwork.
Really? On time?
I was like, God damn, it was efficient.
But what about the presentation?
Everything. They had the lights, the smoke, the music. There was no announcers. There was like the people, somebody on the loudspeaker, so there wasn't like a little guy in the ring. The refs, everything was like top notch, on point.
They should have hired me to be the ring announcer.
Shit. Seriously, like when the walk, because we got there early, like I think a little after it's just started. There was a shit ton of matches, right? And they had kids there. I didn't even know the kids were doing good. Yeah, and then it was like, it's funny because it was like there was always a contrast in the music because everybody had their walkout music. And, and the way people walked out was dope. It reminded me of like Pride. Because it was like it wasn't big, but they had like a little way for them to walk, And then it was like smoke. And then each person had their music. But for some reason, I don't know if they did it like that on purpose, but for some reason the music was always contrast. So somebody had like a soft song or some bullshit. Somebody would come out with like a crazy Wu-Tang song or some fucking trap music or shit.
Wow.
So it was dope. It was like, I was like, are they doing this on purpose? There was one guy comes out with this big religious shit. He was funny because he comes out to all this Jesus music. Jesus, I love Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Right? And then once it was over, they were playing I think they played the winner song. And his song was like, oh yeah, I think it was a Junior Mafia song. A girls rub your titties if you love him. And
that's amazing.
But the Christian guy, he was sitting there dancing. I was like, you just came out to a fucking Jesus song. Now you're dancing to this song.
Rubbing titties.
I was like,
amazing. If that doesn't sum up every single thing about everything.
I was like, is he really doing this shit? And this dude was like, he was all into it.
I wish I would have gone for that. I wish I would have gone just to see that. Fuck the jiu-jitsu. I would have wanted to see that.
So I went for Chin, right?
Right,
and
buddy Chin.
Yeah, so he was.
How was that like? Just from seeing somebody that you know that long compete? Because for me, that was very odd to see somebody like Chin, who's good at jiu-jitsu, but he's older, a lot older than the person he's competing against.
Yeah.
And Philippe, who's competing against, used to train with us. He trains elsewhere now, but he's like 25, 26, full-time competitor. And Chin held his own, from what I understood.
Chin is he's a little younger than me. No, it was equally matched.
You think
so? To be all fair and honest, it was equally matched. They went back and forth. They went back and forth a few times, but I didn't look at it as like, oh shit, you're in a bad position or you're in a bad position. And then at one point, it's like they're just playing close guard, escape, close guard. It was a lot of back and forth. And I was like, I think both of y'all are just like, you're waiting for somebody to do something. You're both being too cautious.
Oh, you don't think they opened up enough?
I think they both were too cautious.
Neither one of them.
Because it was like, I know Chin, and I've seen Philippe train when he was at Marcelo's. So I was like, I know both of y'all can bring it if y'all really wanted to, but I think for some reason, just watching it, I was like,
maybe they were nervous because it was like a really big.
I'm not gonna say nervous, but I'm thinking because both of them are big dudes. Like Chin's he's huge.
Yeah.
You know,
So
Philippe is but he's short and he's fucking stocky.
Yeah.
Right. So I think because of that, maybe both of them was like, let me not do anything too crazy, and just.
So Chin didn't do a blind backflip.
Chin was very cautious. I know that.
Kung Fu tiger palm strike.
He was very.
I hope Chin, if you're listening to this, I'm just teasing.
He pushed, but he did his thing. I mean, the only thing I didn't like it because I didn't like a lot of matches that they were doing there. I thought it was all submission. I thought it was submission only.
No, it's points, right?
Well, not points, but I guess if nobody submits, then they have
decision.
a ref's decision. I don't like that. I'm like, you can't. That's bullshit. The aggressive person wins. And there was one match that really pissed me off. This dude was just scooting on his butt, close guard the whole time. Dude was like. He was attacking him, but it was like, yo, come on, man. Like, you should be better than this. I think it was like a purple or brown. No, I think it was a brown belt. It was no gi.
Well, there's your problem.
And I'm like, yeah, I understand that's your thing. You play guard like that, but seriously, man, it's a tournament. It's not some IBJJF shit, you know?
Right. Well, it's a show. Yeah. It's a show. It's like a presentation.
Put on a show.
It's an event. Yeah.
You know, and I'm like,
people.
He's just sitting there. He just sat down. I was like, you're not even gonna try. You're not even gonna
try.
Yo, but the kids were doing great, man. Oh shit, I just ripped my shirt. Fuck, I didn't pop the button.
Oh, goddamn.
But the kids were cool to see, man. I was like, wow, you did your thing, man. There was a few guys from Unity who really did their thing too, and I was like, all right, that's cool. You know, they were on there. I saw Munchie. He was performing. He was funny too. When he came on, he gave like the ref. He had like a gold chain he put on the ref's head. That was funny. I thought it was funny.
I feel like that's. I'm not going to say anything.
You know what
I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I'm just. I thought it was funny, and I leave it at that.
Fair enough.
But overall, man, I ain't gonna lie. It was a smooth show. My biggest gripe about it, this shit was way the hell out there in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's in the airfield. Yeah, it's even far for me to get to.
We took a train. And then a Uber from the train stop there, and I was like,
"It's a long ass ride."
Way back, we're taking an Uber all the way to the city.
Yeah, no, it's out there. You can't get out there unless you have a car.
I was like,
"Yeah, it's right past the Toys R
Us,
again. Past Kings Plaza Mall.
Never again."
For those who aren't familiar, it's by Mill Basin. It's out there.
I was "There's no." I literally saw no buildings.
Yeah, no, you're right on the highway that takes you to Long Island.
Shit out here.
Yeah, you're right at the highway entrance to the highway that will take you to Long Island.
But I feel like if it was in the city, the same event. They could have done it so much better, man. Because the way it's set up was dope.
Right? Like, they're probably not any event space.
It wasn't that big. It was not that big. It wasn't like it was the way they set it up was cool because they have.
How many people do you think were there?
Not a lot. It's because it wasn't a big venue. The biggest part was the stage, right? And if you're looking at it from like, let's say like you're on one of those sites that stream the show, the way they set up, because you can see some of the cameras there, so the way it's set up, so it looks great, right, on screen. And I'm like. They did their thing, but the seating, it wasn't that many seats there, and it wasn't that many people, you know. And they had concessions and everything. And I was like,
was it mostly just the people from the gyms that the guys were competing from?
Yeah, of course. It was a ton of dudes there, you know. And then I was like one of the only guys who brought his girl, you know. So, but it was good. It was good vibes. There was, like I said, there was concessions and stuff, plenty of seats in general admission, you know. So it was like people had their private tables, and then they had like an area. Were just to see, but you could see everything. The stage was in a view of everything, so it wasn't like you can get a bad shot, right? And it was just it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. It was like tickets were like $50. I would go again if it's not that far in Brooklyn. You know, if it was somewhere closer, I would definitely go again.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah. I didn't go simply because those kind of things don't appeal to me. Some people asked me if I wanted to go. Like a bunch of them were getting tickets together or whatever. I'm like, nope. I don't care. I don't care. I don't know what it is. So they were like surprised. I was just like, yeah, it's just whatever. I don't care.
If it wasn't for Chin, I wouldn't have went. But he was like, he needed somebody there, and I was like, yeah, man.
He's an interesting cat. It's just his whole story is, and his like, I mean, I'm always impressed when older people. I mean, he's not that much older than me. He's what, 30s, mid 30s.
If I'm 39, I think he's 35.
Yeah, and he's in fantastic shape for his age. Like, it's nuts. I mean, for those who don't know, Chin's just built like a superhero.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I mean,
he's huge.
I'm glad he got the opportunity to compete at. I mean, I know he has a goal of opening up his own gym at some point, his own martial arts gym. So, you know, it's just another notch in his accomplishment belt or whatever. Let's switch gears a little bit to art.
Let's go.
Anything new that you're working on in the art world? Anything that you're excited for upcoming?
I'm working on right now. I am solely focused on illustration.
Personal or for professional work?
Right now, just personal. Building up a brand new portfolio, brand new bunch of work. I'm in the zone, man. No sculptures, no paintings, just illustrations.
That's good. And what brought this on? I know you've been doing that. You did the October thing. The Inktober
kind of like sealed the deal, right? It was like I was saying, with jiu-jitsu and everything, I took a break. I had to rethink things, and art was a big part of that, right? Just being an artist in New York, and I'm a working artist, and I have the day job, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like I had to stress with that. Found a great job that lets me illustrate. That part is cool. My personal work, I was like, I still have to take my personal work to a certain level. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what is it that I really want to do? I was like, maybe, because I always love painting. I like sculptures. But for me, it was like the thing I always do is illustrate, you know? And I never called myself an illustrator, though, until recently when I was like, you know what? I am a fucking illustrator. Because no matter what I do, whether it's graphics, painting, sketches, murals, sculptures, I always start with a drawing, right? An illustration. And over the past few months, I've just been focusing on my craft, right? Just like starting from the basics again, just hit reset. And then like with the recent Inktober that passed, that just allowed me to like use that as a stepping stone to the door was there. Now it's like, okay, do something rather than just sit there and draw some characters like most people do for Inktober. Do something from the heart. And
the work you did for Inktober was great. Everything had a theme, everything had a message, and it all was very well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm polishing that work up, you know, cleaning it up a little bit, adding some colors, and throw that in my portfolio. I'm gonna go back to the Father series that I've been dabbling with, but I'm not gonna do paintings, right? I'm gonna stick to the illustrations, just do it on a smaller scale. I can show you like what I have so far. But yeah, man, it's like I love art, you know. I'm going to continue to be an artist. I just got to, like I always say with everything I do.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, thank you. You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, keep it going. I like the ink. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that your Inktober stuff was very good. Even in black and white, it was very punchy.
Yeah,
it's like, the word.
It's like I love painting, right? But I never call myself a painter. Mm-hmm. But I enjoy painting on the canvas. But at this level, I'm like, at my age, my experience level, my work level, my career, right? I feel like my work has to be at a certain point, and it has to be cohesive and it has to say something. I don't feel like I can no longer just do stuff just to do it. I have to do stuff that's gonna take it and like I have to, like, my message has to be clear, and that's where I'm at right now. And I feel I'm in such a peace with my craft, man. It's amazing. I just feel like I'm just in the zone. You know?
That's perfect. That's the best place to be.
I'm in the zone.
That's good. I like to hear that.
One of my boys, he was like, "Oh, it
sounds like you're inspired."
Definitely inspired and motivated. Good. Like one of my boys, he contacted me the other day because he knows I'm trying to do I'm always trying to do like merchandise and stuff for people, right? And put my art on stuff so people can buy it. He was like, "Oh, yo, what's up with this? Did you get them printed up?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm not even there." Like because I was gonna do some other stuff, and I was like, "This is where I'm at right now, and I'm riding the wave." He's like, "Ride that shit to wherever it takes you. Like if you're in the zone, you're in the zone." I was like, "Yeah, man." So another thing that I'm looking forward to is next week at the Met, they're gonna have an exhibit on Michelangelo.
Oh, it opens next week?
Well, the members. Previews next week.
You're gonna get me in the VIP? What's going on here?
Okay,
so you gotta send me the info for that so I can. It's next week.
The members preview is only next week from the 8th to the 13th.
8? What days? What day are you going on?
I believe I'm gonna go Friday because Friday's extended
What time?
after work.
Okay, so I'll be out.
So they're open late.
All right, so I'm not going to train next Friday.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with you.
All right.
So do I gotta do anything special? Do
No,
I
I
gotta
got
give
my
you my
card.
passport or some
Nope.
shit? Okay.
Get us in for free.
Yes.
Yeah, because after that, when it's open to the general public,
That's
it's gonna
gonna
be
be
a
madhouse.
shit show.
That's gonna be crazy.
So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to. It's gonna be. Oh, you know what? I gotta tell you something else. So yeah, the only thing I don't like about the exhibit, I think the lady said on the website they're only gonna have like 2 sculptures of his, which is strange.
Maybe because they're just a bitch to move
Unless
around.
I misunderstood, but I could swore she said 2 sculptures.
It could be that they're just too old, or maybe they're too difficult to ship across the fucking ocean.
Maybe.
Imagine being on that boat. What are you guys transporting? It's just Michelangelo sculptures. What?
Yeah.
Get attacked by some Somali pirates or some shit.
They had a Rodin exhibit there that was very blah. And they hyped it up, and I was like, well, like I'm a big fan of Rodin, you're right. And
They better not fuck this one
And
up.
I've seen his stuff in Paris. Like they
Right.
have his house in Paris is a museum, so they have a shit ton of his work all in one place. His courtyard, all this shit. So I went to the exhibit there, and I was like, this is it. It was like a couple things, couple sketches. I was like, this is it. This is it. It was blink of an eye. But there was also another exhibit that I checked out, which was sketches from all the great masters from the Renaissance up into, I can't remember the era, but I'm pretty sure it started from the Renaissance up until a certain era. And it was just sketches. And it was dope as hell. And I hope they make it into a book. And it was like the actual work, man, of like all the greats. And it was like, because they have like different galleries in the Met, in different areas. And this was in one area you could just literally walk around in a circle. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Because you just see people like inking and just drawing with the pen. And it's, like, matter of fact, after the exhibit, I went and I bought brown ink to draw with. Yeah, man, because I was like, that looks so cool. They had the ink pen, then they had like the brown wash of the ink on it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Michelangelo exhibit.
Yeah, I mean, you just hyped it up big time. So
Yeah, I love the Met, man.
Make sure I put that on my calendar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I make it to that because I'm not gonna. I know I won't go once it opens to the public. It's gonna be too crazy.
Yeah, it'd be a
I
mess.
really hope they don't mess it up because I want to tell you I ordered the new Da Vinci book.
That autobiography book.
Yeah, by
Okay.
Isaac something Isaac, the guy who did the Steve
Yeah.
Jobs.
I got a bookmark on my Amazon.
Yeah, it's out, so you can
Yeah.
order it. I ordered my copy.
Okay.
It's supposed to be fantastic.
But what I want to know is, like, what is he going to tell that's different?
Well, he's known for doing his super in-depth biographies. So he did the one on Jobs, but he did it while Jobs was alive. So that's
Okay.
one thing. He also did it on Benjamin Franklin, and I have that book, and that book's amazing.
Okay.
I think it's mostly his writing style, the way he talks about the individual, but his research. Like he spends a lot of time researching this stuff. So I'm sure if you read it, you'll reread things that you probably already known.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a pretty big book. So there may be some things. I mean, they just recently discovered that that Da Vinci painting. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
That one that's supposed to be selling for like $1 bazillion, the one of Jesus.
Hey, didn't you link me in that?
I think so. But so you never know what else they're gonna.
I wonder if he's going to talk about Da Vinci's missing years.
I hope so.
Yeah. There's a bunch of years when it was life that is just not on
That
any
just
record.
nobody knows about.
He's just gone.
It's probably.
That's why they came out with that show, Da Vinci's Demons.
Oh,
It's supposed to take place during that time. Like they're mixing
Did you ever watch that show? How was it?
I enjoyed it, even though it was full of shit.
Oh, yeah.
It was. But I mean, it's like fantasy.
Right.
The one thing I did find out from that show, which was kind of trippy, that Leonardo da Vinci and Machiavelli were best friends.
Illuminati.
And I didn't know that. Like, the book Prince
Yep.
Machiavelli, The Prince by Machiavelli, the manipulative book. And there's a guy on the show, and his name is just Nico. And it's just like, oh, that's his little friend. But you see how his character grows from like this innocent little dude that always hung out with Da Vinci, and then like he evolves into like this manipulative, kind of scary motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
And then I think when he says his full name at one time, I was like, is that true? And I looked it up. I was like, that's really true. They were
That's
friends.
crazy.
Yeah, man. I was like that. It was a good show.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a fan of Da Vinci. And they had like some mystery stuff take place. And they had this one thing called the Book of Leaves, which was kind of cool. And he has to put together all these pages. And then it's like when he puts together the pages, it's like a map of South America. I'm if you never saw the show, I'm giving away spoilers, but it's dope because that season where they go to South America and you see that was worth watching.
Okay, so I'm gonna go put this on my list of things to
But
watch.
it's not a great show.
That's fine.
I'm not gonna say it's a great show.
Don't worry.
But
I'll make sure to give you my impressions on the book when it comes in.
Yeah, and then they show like it's the Renaissance. It's Florence.
Yeah.
So just for that aspect, it's cool.
Man, I wonder what it must have been like back then. It must have been crazy.
I gotta
also
go to
must
Florence.
have been dirty as fuck.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's fucking gross.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The Renaissance came after the plague, the rebirth. That's why they called it the Renaissance.
Yeah, because half the fucking population of the world died.
Yeah, man.
Ugh. The world was so much smaller back then. You would see so much weird shit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big sucker for those like the Dan Brown books about Da Vinci. I'm a sucker for it.
I want to read The Lost Symbol before they make it into
have
a
it at
movie.
home.
Is it good?
Yeah, I like. So, but I'm a little biased. I
All
have
the
it.
stuff.
I didn't like him at 1st, but once I started reading his books, I liked them all. Lost Symbol, Dante's Inferno, Dante or Inferno,
Inferno.
The Inferno.
Yeah.
The movie was not as good as the book. The book
I watched
was
it
good.
again.
I crushed that book on when I went to a couple years ago. I went to Vegas. I crushed half the book going, and then I crushed the rest of it coming back. It was that good. It's a pretty big book.
Okay.
But I like flew through it because it was so good. I found it was good, and I like the character. Dr. Landon, Robert Landon. I like that character.
Okay.
He's a little unbelievable with his memory thing, but whatever. He's just a big egghead, and I like the idea of fusing the old world and how the old world leaves messages for the future, and how we're in the future now, and we're kind of trying to put back together these lost symbols like that have meaning, but we've over the course of however many hundreds of years we didn't take care of the art, and it started to deteriorate. There's actually
which is what's going on nowadays.
Right. There's actually a show. It's not that old, but it's about a guy who's obsessed with X-raying old art and to seeing the layers underneath. So
Like a History Channel show?
I think it was a History Channel show. I don't remember. I think it may have been a documentary, but his whole thing was he would X-ray the Mona Lisa to see if there was another copy of the Mona Lisa underneath it.
Maybe.
And he was doing it, and he could see the different ways that Da Vinci started the Mona Lisa and how like the idea that went behind it, like of her smiling, of her not smiling, of different poses. Apparently, the Mona Lisa had a completely different background. If you YouTube it, I'm sure you can find it, or you Google it. But it's like X-raying the Mona Lisa, and he does it to a whole bunch of different art. And there's parts of the show. I think it's the same guy where I think it's the Duomo in Florence.
Yeah.
He wants to drill a hole through one of the pieces of art because there's apparently another piece of art hidden behind it that they covered up.
Good luck with that.
And they say it's Da Vinci. They say Da Vinci or Michelangelo, one of these famous guys, has a piece of art hanging there, but that they covered over because all this stuff was done. Yeah, the artists were famous, but they weren't famous like they are now.
Yeah.
So they just slabbed another piece of art on top of it, and they want to drill through it so that they can see with a little camera what exactly is behind there. And they're using all this technology of like sensor readings and stuff to try to see through the wall and like, get vibrations to see what kind of material is back there.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I watched it, but I think it's worth. I think you'd enjoy it. I may have linked you in it at some point in Facebook.
There reminds me of a story that came out about Timbuktu years ago, and because at one point Africa or that area of Africa was like a big trading post, right? And yes, before all slavery and colonization. So in one of the houses that's still around, they found inside the walls all these books, like old cow skin leather.
It's not human flesh.
All this stuff, yeah, like because that's how they made books back in the day.
That's made like Jocko Willink
Books
out of
just,
human flesh.
It was like science books, mathematic books, and astronomy books. It was like, damn, all these just old books, and they were saying like at one point they were hidden because the area is being pillaged and seized and all this stuff. So it was like all these books that predate into. I was like, man, that's.
I think that's only going to keep going on. Like the more we start digging into Earth,
pyramid.
into old civilizations, we're going to find stuff that was like buried layers and layers and layers underneath, and we're going to realize that a lot of our history goes back a lot farther than we think it is.
I follow Graham Hancock on Facebook, right? And he's always posting stuff about and it gets older. That's like the thing he always says, and it gets older because it's like always something new that's being discovered that just predates everything. So the hot news this week is that they found a chamber inside one of the pyramids.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's like so many. I think it's 30 feet by so many feet. It's huge. It's a huge chamber, and they don't know what's in there.
The pyramids of Giza.
Yeah, they don't know what's in there, and it's new. This is like a new find.
It's fucking Imhotep.
Some people are speculating like, oh, is this the? It's because there's supposed to be a famous library.
The Library of Alexandria?
No, not that one.
No,
that's another place.
That's the most famous library.
And then, but
you can't be throwing out famous libraries without talking about that.
One article I was reading said Thoth.
Thoth,
the alleged god of Egypt, god of death, I believe. But he had a library of like knowledge or something like that. So it was like maybe it's that. Who knows? But it's a big chamber, and they want to go in there and explore it. I was like, see, you just find something new all the time. The last time they found something in the pyramids that major was like the 19th century. And I remember when they found, it was like the burial for what they called, because people always said it was slaves that built the pyramids. And then they found like this big, massive graveyard honoring all the people who worked on the pyramids. I was like, man, they're always finding something in the desert.
There's always something. I mean, think about it. The desert is like probably goes so much deeper than we've ever experienced. All the fucking sand everywhere, right? And I mean, especially around the pyramids and the Sphinx, there's chambers and stuff all over that place that we haven't discovered, and that even people like Graham Hancock are trying to put together like they're trying to find ways to excavate those areas or find places where they think there might be chambers. I mean, Egypt is such an old civilization that it's like there's no way. I don't think we'll ever discover everything that was put there, just because of things that will rot away.
It's like there was an episode of Ancient Aliens.
They're definitely going to open that chamber though, and it's going to be cursed. Absolutely. Those men eating scarabs from the mummy are going to come out and eat them.
Something. But there was an episode of Ancient Aliens, and this actually isn't about aliens, but they were saying how during the wars that were going on, like with ISIS and all this stuff, the battles and the conflicts, that ISIS was destroying everything
fucking cunts
against Islam, right, or whatever. But there was also militias that were going in, or private contractors, I should say, that were going in and pillaging stuff. And they were like, nobody could do anything because they had weapons, and they would just go to an area, bulldozers and all this stuff, and just dig, take shit, take off, and nobody knows what they were excavating. Yeah.
Imagine what they found.
I was like, fuck, man. It was in Egypt, in parts of Africa,
Syria,
Iraq.
Oh, Iraq?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, those were the oldest.
After the fall of Saddam,
yeah,
he was like, they just came in.
That's
people
where the
just
oldest
coming in,
civilizations
taking shit.
are.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's going to happen. It's happening in Iran, too, with ISIS.
So it's like, damn, because those private military guys, they're not cheap, So it's like,
no. So they're bringing in equipment to dig.
Yeah.
And there's like no rules. They're not following any rules. Like you can only dig this deep, and then no, we're just gonna keep digging until we find something.
Yeah. Or maybe they're looking for something specific.
They found the Book of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. There's always stories of like giants in Afghan. Yeah. Who knows? I'm just going off for like the shit that I've heard and read.
Just jumped into Conspiracy Lake.
I don't like to go there, but we stepped there for a second.
Yeah. Okay, so since we're going in that direction, should we talk about what happened in New York, in our hometown, on Tuesday? We're recording on a Thursday, so.
I mean.
So for those who don't know, this past Tuesday we had what they're calling as a terrorist attack.
Yes,
in lower Manhattan. Man by, I don't even know his name, so I don't learn their names anymore, mostly because I can't pronounce them. Who I'm guessing is a Muslim.
Yep.
Drove a rented truck into some people.
Yep.
Got out and started shooting people.
Well, he drove it 20 blocks in a bicycle lane.
Right. But did he have a real gun or no?
No.
He had a pellet gun.
Yes.
Right. So he didn't shoot anybody.
No.
So the people he killed.
People.
He hit people.
Yes.
And those are the people who died.
Yes.
So people didn't get shot.
No.
Okay, because I've heard reports that people were shot.
Well, what they did was with a pellet gun.
Okay. So he mowed down some people with a car.
Yes.
Then
crashed into a school bus.
He screamed Allahu Akbar, allegedly.
No comment.
I'm just saying. That's what they say he screamed.
And there was a note.
And there was a note that said it?
It was a note. Allegedly, he was found with a note that said a bunch of stuff.
I bet he thought he would get shot by the cops. And like
he wasn't black.
Yeah.
And this is New York.
That's true.
You only kill black people.
That's true. See, all these liberals, now we're not shooting anybody. I'm just kidding. That's just a joke, folks. That's just a joke. So yeah, he didn't. He got shot. But he got shot in the stomach. So he's alive. They have him in custody.
Yep.
They're probably gonna send him to Cuba, to Guantanamo.
Well, Trump said to kill him.
What? I'm not mad at that either.
Yeah.
But we don't have the death penalty in New York anymore. So they're probably gonna send him to Rikers, where he'll probably will get killed by somebody
put
there.
him in private custody.
You think they put him in like a solitary confinement?
Yeah, because I mean, if he's a terrorist, man, and it's a wrap, he'll never get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because it's, I was thinking about it on the way up here, and after this happened, the first thing I started seeing on Facebook was, after Trump tweeted about it or whatever, people immediately started bringing up the Las Vegas shooter. And we still don't know what the motives of the Las Vegas shooter were, right?
Two things bother me about this. Well, no, more than two things now I think about it. But I'm going to say this. I ignored, like, the day it happened, when everybody, like, my family from outside of New York text me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, because they were like, are you okay? Are you okay? Everything. I'm like, what are you talking about? And one of my boys was like, yo, just heard about an attack in New York. I'm like, 1 second. Google it. Check it out. I'm like, nah, nothing to worry about. It's a crazy dude, right? And my family, they're like,
the
you
world
okay?
that we live in.
I'm like, this is New York.
We're fine.
It's a crazy dude. Sorry people got killed, but that's just some New York shit. He's a crazy guy, right? And
then you saw the beard.
I didn't even see his picture. So that was going on all day. And then I was like, you hear a little bit about it, but then this morning when I saw like the details of it, I'm like, hold up. Like I knew he was alive, but I didn't know all. I just figured, I don't know.
Right.
He was in a car accident, they got him that way. And then I found out these motherfuckers shoot him in the stomach, right, or in the abdomen, and then he's arrested and taken him to custody. That pissed me off, man, because I was like, how come, damn, I got the hiccups. How come this dude gets taken into custody and he just killed a bunch of people, but when a innocent black man just even says something to the police, he winds up dead? Or if it's a kid running from the police because he's scared for his life, the cops break into his fucking house and shoots him in the bathroom, says he has a gun, never found the gun, and that cop even gets no charges. That happened in the Bronx.
Yep.
I think it was Marley Graham. And it just bothers me. It's like, I'm just tired of this shit.
Yep.
And then they go and say, okay, it's a terrorist attack. Okay, he says something. We talked about this, about what constitutes a terrorist attack.
Right, that's what I was alluding to. Like, it's like intent. It's about intent.
Yeah, religious agenda.
Right. So I'm not saying that what the guy in Vegas said wasn't terrorism.
What if he said, praise Jesus, and started shooting people,
then it's
right?
terrorism. Then I would,
what the fuck?
Then I would consider that terrorism.
Yeah.
But the idea that this guy, is very much espousing the Islamic State stuff, makes it terrorism. Like that to me is terrorism.
Obviously.
Now, if the guy in the Las Vegas shooter just turns out he's a fucking psycho, then he's a mass murderer. He's just he's a serial killer. Is Jeffrey Dahmer a terrorist or is he a mass murderer?
Same thing. My thing is like,
well, the thing is, terror serves a purpose.
Yeah.
Terrorism serves a purpose to further an agenda.
But the Vegas thing is even deeper.
Right. Well, that's a whole unique situation. But my whole thing with the whole terrorism label is you're a terrorist because you're using fear to move forward an agenda. You have an idea of why you're doing it. It's a thought.
It's like a hate
thing.
crime.
Right.
Yeah.
A serial killer isn't motivated by political agenda. A serial killer does it because he likes to do it. It's the only way he feels something. Now, the guy in Vegas could be a terrorist. He could just be a psycho. And what bothered me was seeing them immediately comparing the two because of just race, of like a white versus brown thing. I'm like, but not really, because there's a different agenda between those two people.
And that's the problem
that
with
we
a lot
know
of. That's one of the biggest problems with a lot of things that go on right now. When people want to cry racism, I'm like, that's not racism. Racism is different. Racism and hate crimes and terrorists, like terrorism and hate crimes, they're similar, but they're different.
They're cousins. They're not the same thing.
So it's like even when police brutality happens, I'm like, that's not racism. That's police brutality. That's different.
Right. It's different.
But people put them together. I'm like,
because they're very closely related.
And that's one reason why I don't cry racism on shit. I might vent to you or to my friends and say some stuff, but I won't cry racism because I'm like, it's bullshit for me to say that, because it's like people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
yeah. I don't know. I just saw it on the way up here. Like, I saw a lot of posts about it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yo, it's like, I get it. Like, I understand why you're making that comparison.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at it. It's just, I feel like it's so quick to be a race thing. Like, think about it. This guy, I'm talking about the Vegas shooter, rich white guy. We have no idea. As far as I know, and I haven't read up on it in the last couple of weeks, he didn't say he did it because he believed Planned Parenthood was bad, or that he believes the world's coming to an end and he needs to rid the world of fucking country music, non-Jesus believers. I don't know. But if that did come out that it was based on a political or a religious motivation, then yes, it would be terrorism. Maybe this guy was on psychotic drugs. Maybe he was on SSRIs or antidepressants.
Maybe he was set up.
Who knows?
We don't know.
Right? But we do know that this, and even this terrorist attack that happened here on Tuesday seems kind of fishy because it's like too easy almost.
Very
right? Because every terrorist attack that's happened, the terrorist dies, gets murdered, gets shot by the cops.
This guy lived in Jersey. He just moved there, too.
Yeah. So when I look at what this guy did, clearly making a statement about Islam and his own, I guess his own version of Islam and what he believes is right. I'm sure he thought the cops would kill him and he would be the martyr and he would go to heaven and get the virgins or whatever.
But the thing is,
that's all fake news, by the way. That's not real.
They were saying he's confessing and just talking freely. They don't even have to do anything.
Yeah. He's just happy he's famous now.
It's like, what?
Yeah. It's bizarre, but I would consider it terrorism unless they can prove that this guy's just another psycho, which, in my opinion, if you're that religious, you already have a mental disease. If you believe any religion that strongly that you're willing to do that, you're already a psycho in my book. But if you're using it as a way to forward an agenda, then that's a whole nother thing that falls into terrorism for me.
One of the things I didn't like between the two is how, well, I mean, yes, because the cases are completely different. But it just shows how messed up the Vegas thing is, because the New York incident happened, cameras from everywhere. Look at the footage. Vegas, nah.
But the Vegas one is also different because of how it transpired.
Now, okay, so take New York Times, right? They put out a video where they took the people that were there on the ground, and then they have surveillance cameras from, I believe it's the building across from the hotel, so they could show from high up. They show the street level, right, and you can see the cars driving by. I don't know what hotel it is, but it's from the other hotel. So they took all the videos that they were able to find and they put them together in a timeline, and they were like, okay, this is, I believe it's 10 to 12 minutes.
Imagine being the person doing that shit at the New York Times.
It was a lot of fucking video footage, but they say it was like, this is how we were able to piece together everything and make sense of it, right? And they were like, and you hear the guy talking, he's explaining stuff, and he's like, okay, boom, at this time, shots go off, right? And and again, you're looking at everybody else's camera who's
shots.
That's the thing. You hear them.
Right. So he must have had a real gun at some point. Maybe he had two guns. Maybe he had a pellet gun and a real gun.
No. I'm not talking about New York. I'm talking about Vegas.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about New York.
No, this is just the Vegas thing. I forgot how we got there, but this is why it's strange. So they have the video footage, right? And they're showing people inside the concert, and it's like, okay, they're enjoying the concert, and you hear a couple shots in the background, bah, 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 but it's such a distance, and I think one or two people were like, "What's going on?" Then next thing you know, more of them rang out. Everybody's like, "Oh, you see people running, blah blah blah." Next thing you know, I think there's like a pause at a couple minutes, and then you start shooting again, boom, and everybody's like, "Okay, people getting shot, blah blah blah." Now, where I have a question is, at one point, officers go to the hotel floor where he's at, and they say that he shoots at the officers, and this is on a
microphone,
the CB, right? CB,
yeah,
that the cops are using, and the cops are saying, "Hey, he's shooting at it, blah blah blah," and you hear their voices. There's no video of that, but you hear the voices and you hear the CB. So again, they show the video footage, and you can hear all the shots that this guy's making. So back to the hotel thing, there's like a few minutes where they don't rush the room. They're waiting for more reinforcements before they storm the hotel room. And then there's a few minutes that go by. They storm the hotel room. And again, you don't hear any shots at all. When they storm in, the guy's dead.
So he shot himself.
But this is where I have the question, man. They have all these, they have a bunch of videos, right? No videos from the hotel at all. But they have videos that they gather and they put together, and they have the CB recordings from the police officers. And they're saying, like, these minutes went by and this happened, and you can hear all the shots from outside. How come when this guy kills himself, nobody heard the shot? Not even the cops in the hallway say, "Oh, we hear more gunfire." Like, nothing. They just storm the room, and he's like, "Oh, he's done." It's like, to me, that's fishy.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not saying he didn't do it or not. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying when I look at the facts, it doesn't, like when I looked at the video, I was like, this is interesting because they show you everything, man. It's kind of like, I won't say it's gruesome, but it's fucked up to watch it, you know? But I watched it a couple times and I was like, there's a few gaps. And the guy says, oh, well, maybe he's this, maybe he's that. And there's even a time where the guy doing the narration, he's like, well, he's shooting out another window. And I'm like, maybe that's another shooter.
Could be.
You know, because people were saying that there's other shooters.
Right.
So I'm like, I get how they're trying to piece the things together as best as they can, right, to make sense. But I'm like, it really doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's a lot about that. There's
a lot of holes.
Yeah, and you know, it's also a touchy thing to talk about because the minute you start alluding to the fact that it might be what it's not, what it seems like it's not, then people kind of jump up your ass about it.
I know how I can go down the rabbit hole of like conspiracies and shit, but like with this case, I'm not even going there. I'm not even entertaining those thoughts.
Right.
But I'm just like, listen to what the people are saying, and if people are saying, yes, it was multiple shooters, or yes, this happened, or I'm like, he broke the windows. Like how?
Yeah, for any of you who've been in a hotel room in Vegas, those windows, and they said how do you break it, and they had a video like demystifying the conspiracies of this thing, and they're like, how did he break the window? And the guy goes, a hammer. I'm like, really? Have you been to a hotel in Vegas? I'm pretty sure, and I'm not like a weak dude. I'm pretty sure if I had a hammer in Vegas,
a sledgehammer,
yeah, you know what? He probably had to shoot the windows out. I mean, that's the only way that makes sense in my head that you can open those windows.
But then, like I said,
they're anti-suicide windows.
Like we said before, it was like if he done that, glass would have fell. Somebody would have said something.
If all of a sudden glass is falling down.
Or if somebody just looks up and says, "Well, there's bed sheets hanging out those two windows," like,
right?
What?
You're telling me in a city with millions of people on vacation, no one looked out of a window and said, "That's weird."
This isn't Hangover,
right? It's a window with all golden windows, and then one that's missing with bed sheets hanging out.
I would be like when if they just released all the video footage or some video footage from this case, I'd be like, cool. Like there's a website, it's like a debunkers website, and I think the guy was on Joe Rogan's at one point. Anyways, I go to the website and he finally has like photos of like the plane that crashed into the Pentagon. I'm like, dude, it's like
just finally.
It's like was it 17 years later or 16 years later after the fact? You just now because he debunks all this stuff, and I'm like, you just now got these photos, which they don't even show you like the full scene. It's just like clips. I'm like,
we're treading very dangerously close to 9/11 conspiracies.
I'm not saying
we're treading water.
Like,
I know, I feel you. And
just show me the evidence. Is it that hard? You know, is it that difficult to just?
It's probably. I mean, when I think about it, it's either they have the footage and they don't want to show it to us because it's fucked up, or they don't have the footage and they don't know how to tell us they don't have the footage, so they just don't say anything.
Or they have the footage and it's just something more to it.
And they don't want.
And that's what I think. I think it's more to it.
The thing though is, I think you could. It's possible. I think that's the first thing most people like us jump to, the conclusion that they're hiding something, and maybe they are. But I mean, I don't know. I just think it's very strange that at this point they haven't found a motive for this guy for doing this. Mm-hmm.
His brother gets arrested for child porn.
Mm-hmm. That's very strange.
Anybody can hack a computer,
That's very strange. And we know the NSA can do that without really even having to really try.
Yep.
They have backdoors into almost everything.
Like, I'm not saying like that pedophile stuff doesn't exist, but I'm like, when I hear people get arrested, I'm like, is that just...
It's very strange. I mean, clearly his brother did that mass murder, and then they were going to, I'm sure, look into his brother as well.
Yeah, of course.
If he was doing some fucked up
discredit.
Shit... right. Yeah. But, I mean, if his brother was trying to clear his brother's reputation, they would have an interest in making sure that he didn't do that.
Yep.
It's a crazy world out there, Smalls. It's a crazy world. Speaking of pedophiles, Corey Feldman...
That was a fucking crazy transition.
That's right. Transition City up in this bitch. Corey Feldman is trying to raise money to expose the Hollywood pedophile thing that's going on. That's been spurred by, I guess, the Harvey Weinstein allegation and now the Kevin Spacey shit, which if you didn't know Kevin Spacey was gay and you had to wait for him to come on and say it, you have a problem. The man's super gay. I love him.
I didn't know he was gay, but his publicist somebody needs to buy her a beer.
Yeah.
Because that shit was smooth.
So quick. It was 2 tweets done.
It was just like...
Two tweets. He lost House of Cards, which I'm sure they'll give him back.
Well, they were going to cancel it anyway.
Well, they have to finish the last season.
No. They were saying that... Well, the report I read was like they were already thinking about canceling it. So they were like, this really didn't have anything to do with it. They just decided to release that information at this time.
Interesting.
But the decision was already... I was like, come on, that's clickbait shit. The decision was already made to cancel the show.
Well, I mean...
They're just making it seem like they're canceling it because of this shit.
I have a feeling they're going to let it smooth over.
Yeah.
And then they're going to finish the season.
But it's a moneymaker.
But what if it's a conspiracy? What if the terrorist thing happened to cover to make us forget about Kevin Spacey being gay?
Or maybe it happened just to blind us from something else.
Dum dum dum.
I don't know, man.
It's a crazy world out there, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say this whole year, nothing surprises me anymore. As I've said in the beginning, I'm gonna say it now. I'm just waiting on the aliens being.
Waiting on aliens. So switching back, moving away from pedophiles.
You're getting pretty good at this stuff.
There we go. I wanted to quickly touch on a project I'm going to be starting.
Oh.
It's going to be a photo project about people with tattoos.
Okay.
So I'm looking for volunteers. I'm putting it out there. If you have a lot of tattoos, I'm talking like total. I'm talking about a large percentage of coverage of your body tattoo.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to want to talk to you about doing a portrait series from maybe the waist up or maybe full body, depending on how much you're covered. I have a friend of mine who's been fairly covered recently in his past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Has gone from 0 tattoos to being tattooed on his head. So he's going to be part of it, and I'm planning on doing it. I may sooner or later be having access to a medium format digital camera. So we're talking about a camera that has 50 megapixels. The camera itself runs in $10,000, $12,000 range camera. So I may be getting access to borrow one for a little bit, and I want to take advantage of it by photographing as many people as I can. It's going to be low-key portraiture, so it's going to be a black background, very minimal light, and I'll probably do a conversion to black and white. I've just been kind of thinking about doing something. I wanted to do a portrait series on people with cauliflower ear, but somebody else out there is already doing that. And I kind of just and I know people have done plenty of series of people with tattoos, but
check out Juan Puente.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah. But I kind of want to play around with it. Maybe get a couple portraits of it under my belt and try it in black and white and see, because I want to do kind of like a cinematic type of portrait. I don't know if that makes sense, but maybe a spotlight type of look, something that's different. Maybe it's nothing, but I want to give it a shot since I'll have access to the camera. I'll probably do it at my house or something, or if you want me to come to your place, I'll do it at your place. It's not a big deal. It won't be a lot of equipment, but it's just something I've been messing around with in my head, and I want to actually put it out there and see what I can make it look like.
Dope.
So I know you have a lot of tattoos, so maybe you can be my first volunteer.
Sure.
All right, strip down.
I'm getting more.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Anything on the dome on the face? No, like upside down cross on the forehead.
Hell no. I love my tattoos, but I like them covered.
I think it's cool to have tattoos, but also able to cover them up when you need to.
Damn right.
Which is kind of weird, but I mean, whatever.
You ever look at my books that I have?
Yeah. Yeah, you've shown me some of them.
I know Juan Puente. There's a few people who tattoo, but his books are pretty dope. He's an old school guy too.
Yeah, I think this will be an interesting little experiment in what I'm doing. I need to photograph more. I've got a shoot coming up with a client later this month.
I know a guy. He's supposed to be coming back to New York in December. If he comes back, I want to get tattooed by him. Okay. But I'll definitely ask him, and he's covered, and he's a jiu-jitsu guy.
Oh, okay.
He's a black belt from Brazil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be cool. Maybe I'll do if he has cauliflower, maybe I can incorporate that into it.
He's a I think it's Hawks and Gracie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I met him, and we kind of hit it off. He's a cool guy. But yeah, he's supposed to be back in December, and if he comes back, I'll ask him. I'll tell him.
Yeah, let him know. Let him know. Even if it's just a quick one too. Maybe him actually even sitting down in the studio wherever he's tattooing.
That'd be dope.
That might be something we could look at. Awesome.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else you got going on? Anything you want to tell the people on episode number 10?
Right now, I'm just focused on my work, man. I'm in the zone, and I just want to get that done and just make sure whenever this fades, because it will fade, and I'll move on to something else. I just want to make sure that I was able to create everything I wanted to create. That's where I'm at right now. So it's like I don't really have anything else going on besides that.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's good to be in that zone of creativity where it's all flowing.
Yep.
And it almost feels like it doesn't take any effort. It's just
effortless.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was episode number 10. It's a big milestone for The Grin and I. We started this podcast as sort of just an experiment.
Yep.
It's going well. We know there are people out there that are listening. Some people have liked it. Some people have not. That's cool. Please continue to listen.
Yeah.
Subscribe to us on iTunes. Subscribe to us on Google Play or whatever app you use to listen to podcasts.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Absolutely. Follow us on all the social media. We're there. We post.
You know what? Don't just follow us. Interact with us.
Yeah,
say some shit, man.
Leave us a message. Don't just
something.
Say what's up. Tell us if you like something. You know,
if you don't like something.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and make sure I post more on the Facebook page to try to get feedback from you guys. But yeah, let us know what you like. If there's something that we say that bothers you, feel free to interact with us. It's okay. No opinion is unwelcomed.
Nope.
We are open to every type of person.
Yeah.
Every type of conversation.
Not every type of person.
But most.
Most.
But please reach out. Say hello. Thank you for listening. This is episode 10, Chico and the Grin. I'm Chico.
I am the Grin.
See you later.
Peace.